Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Tim from the Calm Compound, and today, as per usual, we are going to have a quick look at the market, what's going on, and what you can expect for the coming few hours, as well as just our thoughts and what we think might happen, what we're looking at. So in front of us we have Bitcoin. As we can tell, as you can see, not that much has happened since yesterday. We came back above 19,000, we tested it again. We have this trend line down here, or the one that we had in yesterday, which was down this way, which has been broken and tested twice now. We also see that the support of 18,500 was well tested, and this kept up, which is great. Like to see that. Bit of a wick on top, which is a shame. A lot of a wick is developing today. I would prefer to see it end a bit more near its high to try and confirm above the candle yesterday, so that we might see a bit more oomph and a bit more growth up towards maybe the 20,000, 20,500, or even just try and break 19,800 or close near it. That would be great if we don't get rejected from that level. That would be great. That would be amazing. If we zoom in a little bit towards the 4 hours, we see a trader's trap. If you look down here in this sort of wiki environment, especially the last couple, like 8 hours, let's say, that is just a lot of wick and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people trying to trade uncertain markets, and that is generally where people get eaten. So please be careful out there when you're trading. It is best to just, in this case and in this cycle of the market especially, it's best just to wait for the really certain hard-hitting trades and slowly scale in either, or just keep small positions in regular trades depending on what you do or on what your personal preference has. If we look on, we see that there's a bit of a broadening channel in the 1 hour, but that's not too much of our concern. For this 4 hour, it would be great if we could close above this trend line and then attempt to confirm, so we can try to break that in 19,800 and maybe move back up towards these highs over here. That would be great. Yesterday we talked about Matic USDT. Let's grab it. Here we talked about potentially starting a trade. Oh, it's still in the 4 hours, so let's grab the daily. There we go. Much better. Right, we talked about potentially starting a trade here around the 74 cents if yesterday closed above the support that we see here. This one is a bit unclear with all the dashed lines. My apologies for that, folks. Right, so it did close above that. I decided to maybe take 1.5 size, so not entirely as bad. Take about 4.6% of risk, have a 1-on-1 target here, and then a bit more for here, like more 4 to 5 to 1, and just under 90 cents. I hope my cat doesn't break my computer. Great. And here at the 96 cents approximately. That's the ultimate target, but we'll see if we get there, because of course it's a 30% move, which just takes a lot out of the market at this stage. So in each cycle of the market, you also have to make sure that you know what is realistic. In a bull market, 30%, not that much. It happens fairly regularly, like every week. In a bear market, it's a lot harder, especially for bigger projects, which have a higher market cap and therefore are harder to move around, especially if there's just not as much hype. Let's have a quick look at Ethereum. Here we see a fairly similar picture to Bitcoin, a lot of wick. Ethereum is doing a bit worse than Bitcoin. It's still very much following Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the lead at the moment, which is different than all these months or weeks over here in which Ethereum had a solid lead, but after the merge was over and done with, it slowly handed back the reins back to Bitcoin for the time being, at least. That is not at all a problem. See a bit of a downsloping trend line like this, and a little bit like this, which has been broken, and now it's consolidating here above, or yeah, just above the 1250, still in the middle of the range. So you could try maybe to take a small trade here at the lows. Just be careful that you don't overexert yourself. This would be decent, this area, like the 1250 to maybe the 1260, 1275. You could look at that for like a small trade maybe. Just be careful, because these resistances and supports will also break at some point, so you have to be prepared for when that happens. We have... no, I'm mistaken, never mind. Forget that. And let's have a look at Ethereum Bitcoin, which is of course a trade that we have, well, quote unquote cold, that we've set up here in this fashion. It goes fairly deep. The chances of actually reaching that 0.03 are fairly slim, but you never know in a bear market especially. Although I think those days are probably over, that Ethereum goes down that much against Bitcoin. But you don't know. We see a fairly, yeah, sloppy, I am at a loss for the word, that's a shame, distribution. Ooh, that was tougher to recall than I would like. We see a fairly sloppy distribution over here, so it could be that we see another sweep of the lows, maybe here towards the 0.05657. We might even touch here to the 0.05, that would be great, and we have 30% exposure. And in case we do break down, we can very quickly go towards that 30% target of getting in. For now, we see a big move downwards over the past couple of weeks, and now some consolidation. This is looking like a typical consolidation so far. So what we have here, and pay close attention because I love these patterns, if this keeps up, then we have a triangle, a symmetrical triangle, which is most of the time, and that is a trader's most of the time, so let's say 7 or 8 out of 10. Most of the time that's a continuation pattern. So you see a big move down, you see the triangle, and then you see another big move down. Doesn't have to be just as long or just as much, but let's see, because how much is this? This is 0.012. So if we do that again, 0.012, a little bit higher, that would put us at 0.056 in a measured move, which would either mean that Ethereum is going to fall fairly quickly, or Bitcoin is going to rise very quickly with Ethereum in a slower toe. Obviously, I would prefer Bitcoin to rise, but it is still a bear market, so iffy. And the week is not over yet. We still have 3 days to go, 1 or 2 of which are weekend, which is of course low liquidity. All kinds of things can happen in low liquidity, so keep that in mind. It would be fairly possible to see that 0.056, and in which case we will have a 10% exposure and possibly 20% if it can wick down. That is it for now. Actually, let's quickly look at AVAX, see how that is doing. If we look here, we see that AVAX is still in the weekly. So we move back down to the daily. We see that AVAX has not yet broken out of its downtrend. However, it is slowly losing some steam, it would look like, and it's still trying to consolidate here between the support and the trend line. So we're just waiting for it to break out either way, and then we're waiting for it to confirm. All right, stay safe out there, happy trading, and thank you so much for your attention today. Hopefully you learned something. See you in the next one. Bye bye.